Hi, I'm going to show you how to use the partial product strategy to do multi-digit multiplication. So what we have now is a two-digit number and then another two-digit number that you're multiplying together. So let's do this example together. 35 times 24. So I like to think of this as a sporting event, and the 3 and the 5 are on the same team, but they each have to go against the 2 and the 4. What this means is that the 3, the pink, has to go against the 4 and the 2, but it's not going to fight against its own teammate because the 35 is together. So the pink has to go against the blue and the green, and then the red has to go against the blue and the green. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I have these boxes drawn out for the pink and the red and then the green and the blue. And the pink will go against the blue and the green, and the red will go against the blue and the green. When I draw these arrows, it looks like a bow tie. So a lot of people call this the bow tie method, but you just want to make sure that the team is never fighting against itself and that everyone gets a turn multiplying with the other number below it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take each digit and write it out in expanded form. So the number 35 is not 3 and 5, it's 30 and 5 because this 3 is really worth 30. So I'm going to click here, well, the 3 is worth 30, and I'm just going to type 30. And then the 5, well, it's in the ones column, so it's just worth 5, nothing too special there. Okay, now let's look at the 24. It's not a 2 and a 4, it's a 20 and a 4 because this 2 is in the tens column, so it's really worth 20. So that's always the first step with partial products, is writing the numbers out in expanded form. Now I'm going to go in order, and if you get stuck, you can look at these boxes here because this one has pink on the outside and then green. So it shows you what order to go. So this one's for the pink versus the green, and then this one's for the pink versus the blue. And that switches over to red, and we do the red versus the green and the red versus the blue. It doesn't actually matter on your own what order you go in, but for this assignment, I put it in order just to help you remember so that you don't forget one or do one of them more than once. Okay, so let's do pink versus green. 30 versus 20. They sound like big numbers, but it's so great whenever there's a zero, you can cover the zeros, forget about them, and come back to them later. So I'll show you what I mean. Right now on your computer, you can use your finger and cover the zeros. Just get rid of them for a second. And what you left with is a 3 and a 2. So just do 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6, right? Cool. So we got a 6. Now put those numbers, those zeros back in. How many were there? 1 0, 2 zeros, 2 zeros. So your answer is 6 and a 0 and a 0. 30 times 20 is 600. Here's my 6. Put the zeros back in. Super easy. Now let's do, what is it? Pink times blue. So the 3 got to go against the 2. Now it needs to go against the 4. 30 times 4. Again, forget about the 0 for just a second. What is 3 times 4? 3 times 4 is 12. How many zeros do we have? Just one. I didn't have one. Just one. So 3 times 4 is 12 and a 0, which is 120. 1, 2, 0, 120. All right, so the 3 went. The 3 had its turn. It got to compete against the 2 and the 4. Now it's the 5's turn. The 5 gets to go with the 2 and the 4. So 5 times 20 and then 5 times 4. All right, forget about the 0 for a second. 5 times 2 is 10. And then add this 0 back in. That 0 doesn't count. It's just 5 times 2 is 10. And then there was 1 0. So put that 0 in. And then finally, 5 times 4 is 20. Last step, super simple. Just add them all together. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 2 plus 2 is 4. 6 plus 1 plus 1 is 8. And there's your answer. So just do one step at a time. Fill in your colored boxes and then fill in these boxes and then add it all together. Remember, on every slide, there is a video to help you get started if you get stuck.